Hey guys, this is Tim. I wanted to go over a couple of things on the data prep. I know Kenji's already done this, but I thought it'd be good for us to kind of do it ourselves, one or both of us, and see what matched. And so I'm going to show you what I did, mistakes I ran into, and then other people can try to recreate them or whatever. And I'm really interested. I got a couple of questions for you, Kenji, because I'm not sure how you did a couple of the things, but it looks pretty good. So the first thing I'm going to show you is under here. First thing I did in my last video is I talked about how I was going to remove the formatting, and it basically comes up as a fairly plain Jane, Excel spreadsheet. This is that line. So my first question, Kenji, is did you take account that these loans do not meet minimum requirements? Because I excluded them from my data set because I think it will skew our data if we don't have it. So that's an important question. But other than that, you see here where it says number stored as text. So I think that has a negative impact the way I did my data import by moving everything into Excel from a CSV and then trying to, I guess, fix it for lack of a better example. If I go back over to, let's see, formatting removed here. So I did that, and then I went down to clean and combine, my next step, and when I pulled them up into this thing called combined jump, I basically took all of those Excel spreadsheets and pulled them in here, and this is what I got. The most important thing to notice is along the left-hand side, and it was cool because I kept the source just like Kenji did, which I'm a little curious how he kept his, but when I did that, for whatever reason, because in the Excel spreadsheet it said that it was all text, it basically said, if you go look at one of these guys, column info, it assumes all of these are characters. And characters aren't gonna be ideal for us, right? Because some of them are numbers and jump is aware. So that was a bad thing for me. So this work that I did, no good. So then I said, okay, basically I took a text editor. I took all these files, A through B, and one thing I wanted to show you real quick is I just took the CSVs like 3A and 3B, and I have them here, right? And this looks pretty good because you can see that they are not all characters. Some of these are numbers, and it recognizes them. And I have loan stats 3A and loan stats 3B here, just as an example. There's kind of a neat feature here under compare. You go into tables, and there's an option to compare data tables. So this one, compare with header, this is one I created just for this. So this is 3A and 3B. It'll go down here and it'll say, hey, look, next payment underscore D, and my first file, it's a numeric, and in my second file it's a character. So you can see, even though I hadn't changed anything, depending on what's in that field, and maybe it was blank or something, it came up different. So the key is to have the same fields as the same thing. So this is part of the data stuff, and I don't know how much Kenji already did of this, but this was just showing you how I went through to try to figure out what was what. So that being said, bringing them in separately doesn't seem to work. So the last thing that I tried in order to get kind of all the data in one table was I basically took these files as text, and there's a DOS command because I'm kind of an old school kind of guy. There's a DOS command here where you can say, let's see, this command right here. Once I had all the files cleaned out, I took the header row out of the 3B and the 3C file, and I basically said copy the first file, which had the header row in it, to the second file that did not have the header row in it, to the third file that didn't have the header row in it, and to a lone combined CSV. So however it calculates, because I used the best guess, I basically, this is what I did to create my jump file, okay? And so if we go up to, this is jump file with all data, forget the project. I'm still trying to figure out projects in this, but this is my loan combine file. And let's see, do I still have that? So this is combined. And there's a cool thing, Control-1 lets you skip between the different windows. And then this is Kenji's file, loan stats. Okay, I'm gonna move that here. I'm gonna move this here. Come on. Okay, that's close enough. So these are the two things. You can see that, oh, let's see, that's funny. Because combine, that's not my good file because you can see all my things are characters. So let me go back to my jump file, which, sorry about this. That should be it, but it's not if that's, huh. Let me see, I'll end up cutting this out if I have to. So this is Kenji's file with 466. Where's my file? Combine, compare, loan combined. Maybe this is it. This looks better. Sorry about that. So these are the two files that we were looking at. And you can see that Kenji has 466 rows, and I haven't deleted any rows except for the ones that I mentioned, and I have 463. Our data tables look pretty close. He's added a source table and left ID and member ID. I took those out, but then, you know, loan amount, term is this. It starts matching pretty closely. So you've added some fields here. So main thing is I'd like to know the difference why you have 3,000-ish rows more. That being said, another thing that you can do is you can do that trick with the compare tables. Let's see, compare missing tables. And the one thing that I noticed is a lot of your data is characters over here. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing because of it's just different, but I know that some of these are numbers because it has num in it, so that we may be ending up getting rid of it. So just something to think about, but I thought it would be worth showing you guys as compare data sources. And then let's see, last but not least, I had a list of things I wanted to talk about. Let's see, so I ask you, I would like to know how you, Kenji, got all your data together, because I really like that you kept this source ID, source table. I'm not sure what the ID is. You might have just kept it. I was the same way. In some ways, I like having some type of ID to find the row, but then I don't care as much. I showed you the difference between table 1 and table 2 and jump, which is what I just did. I showed you how I got the data in, and I showed you how to, you know, compare those table. And the last thing is show the file location in Google. Well, that's pretty straightforward. That basically, if you look at, what is that? Yeah, so right now we have this histograms, loan combine, jump, and loan stat. Last thing that I wanted to at least mention is this histogram. So I put this in there. This shows all the data, and it's just a PDF of all the different things for the most part. Some of these things like the URL, I think we can get rid of pretty safely. We'll probably talk about the histograms. Some of these things very normalized. And again, I didn't do Kenji's data, so I still have to do that. But I thought it was useful to see how some of these things, you know, looked in the histogram, because I don't think Kenji really had we didn't know how to do some of this stuff back in the day. So I'm okay moving forward with Kenji's data, but we need to look at it, especially Vinky, because I'm pretty sure if he was like me, he hasn't looked at it. We now have a copy of it, and I like doing something like this so that we can stay on the same page, because it's so hard since we can't get together. So let me know what you think about these things. And I'm going to tentatively plan on taking Kenji's data and probably doing the same thing with the histograms. Maybe we'll keep different versions, but maybe modify, get rid of the things that, where all the rows are missing, for instance. Where were those? Get out of my way. Yeah, like these things, all of these, obviously with all the records missing, there's no reason to do it. So that's it. Thanks, guys. Yeah, and let's get going. Appreciate Kenji keeping us honest there. So let me see if I can find my app and shut it down.